Good afternoon. I'm Rodney Simmons with Blue Moon Mobile RV. I'm the founder and president. I'm going to talk a little bit about batteries, very little bit about batteries. These little power-packed packages are honestly solely responsible for stopping more RVs dead in their tracks than the 2008 financial crisis. That's why I'm always preaching about batteries. And in the RV industry, if you got a bad battery, I mean, it can shut down your charging system, and literally even in motorhomes, bad batteries can kill the alternator, which in turn, when you run out of power, it'll stop you dead in your tracks in the motorhome, travel trailer, it doesn't matter. Batteries are the heart, the actual beating heart of every RV on the road today. There are three basic types of batteries used in all RVs today. We have the wet cell lead acid. This is an open cell, so you can pop the top. If I can get it off. Wasn't supposed to be that hard. Props! Here we go. You could fill these at the top. Always use demineralized water. This one is maintenance free. See, it says right here, maintenance free. You cannot open this up. With this particular battery, they call it recombinant technology, so that when the battery is being charged, it does gas off, but it's recombined back into the cell that whatever moisture would have normally escaped. As in this one, it just goes in the atmosphere. With this one, it falls right back into the battery. And it's very successful, great technology, simple little things they did to make it easy for all of us. Our second type of battery is an absorbed glass mat battery. This particular battery has been very abused, as you can see, by the warping on the sides and whatnot. It does have the same acid that's in these two. However, it is captured in a fiberglass mat, absorbed glass mat. Those are fiberglass mats in here, and they hold that acid in there. And when the battery is being recharged, it still gases off, but it's all caught at the top of the battery and condensates and falls back into the respective cell. The third, and I saved this one for last, is our makeshift lithium iron phosphate battery. As you can see, the dollar signs across the bottom. The only time we have these in the shop is when we're installing them. We don't just have them laying around, because these are upwards of $1,000 to $1,100 a piece, and possibly the last battery you will ever buy. And they look very similar to this. You have a positive and negative post. That is it. You have a case and a positive and negative post. In the top of the battery, there is a battery management system. So there's really nothing that's serviceable about this battery, and they charge and discharge, they say 5,000 to 8,000 times, which is a lot. Each one of these batteries has their pros and cons. Like I mentioned, I'll start with the LiPo and go backwards from there. This one is very expensive. This particular battery is a makeshift. This is our joke, LiPo. However, they come in the same sizes that the standard batteries for the last 25, 30 years come in, and they can vary in their voltage depending on your situation. The pros of the LiPo battery, probably, like I said, be the last battery you ever own. The cons are, they're very expensive. If your RV did not come equipped with the proper charging equipment, that can easily double the cost of the battery to install that charging equipment that will charge these batteries properly. So the LiPo, the pro is be the last battery you ever buy. The con is the price and the equipment that you would have to install if your RV did not come with lithium iron phosphate batteries. Next is I'm going backwards still, is the absorbed glass mat. It has the recombinant technology, like I was telling you, so you don't have to add water to them. There's almost no service. You can see these, even though this battery was used in a service life, look at these, they're clean as a whistle on top. No corrosion, they're a sealed battery, they don't gas off, so there's no service involved. Another pro is you get 3 to 8 years out of these, depending on which brand. I do want to be very clear about that, depending on the brand. There are brands that will last literally 8 years. And we've seen it, and I'm going to change some out next week, and they're right at 8 years old. These will also operate in hot and cold temperature. The lithium iron phosphate stops working around 35 degrees, sometimes a little higher. They'll discharge, but they will never recharge in low temperatures like that, so you have to keep these in a space with you. It can handle hot, cold, it can handle high, low voltage, as high as 15 volts and as low as 12.3, 12.2 on charging, and still give you reasonable performance. Some of the cons. This is about 50 to 100% more than these two batteries. This is these standard lead acid batteries. So that's one of the cons on this battery is the price of this battery. And these batteries charge at a higher rate than these batteries. So you typically will have to turn up your equipment. A lot of the equipment is adjustable. They have, a lot of your converters now are coming with an AGM setting. Some of them are even coming with a lithium iron phosphate setting on them. So you can go to your service facility and have them bump that up for you. You have a charge wizard installed. That's just, I think, exclusive to Progressive Dynamics as far as the charging equipment, and they will charge these properly. So that's really about the only con here is, and the weight. I left that one out. These are heavy. Lord, these are heavy batteries. These are heavy batteries. So I believe this is like 56 pounds. This is about 75 pounds. And this is just a 6-volt. And our very last, which was our beginning, are our standard traditional lead acid batteries. And vast majority of the RVs on the road today. And the pros to this, they're the cheapest battery on the market. I can get, you pay anywhere from $150 to $250 for a deep cycle standard traditional lead acid battery. So the cost, there's one pro on them. They last between 3 and 4 years. They're tough in freezing weather and in really hot weather. You're not going to damage this battery at all in extreme conditions that we would typically see. If you're RVing out in the desert of West Texas down the Big Bend, or if you're up in Michigan where it's snowing, this battery is going to give you dependable service. Some of the drawbacks are 140 amp hour battery that this one's rated at. That's the number of hours you could pull the amperage off of it. It's 140 amps for 140 hours at 1 amp. And with a traditional battery like this one, you can only use half of that. Whereas with the lithium iron phosphate, back again, one of the pros of the lithium iron phosphate battery is you can pull it down to 90% of its rated capacity. So if this, for example, was the same size, group 26 or 24, and a 140 amp hour battery, we could pull about 120 amp hours out of this battery, and this one we can only pull out 70. Another con on this one in particular is they have to be cleaned. This one was cleaned up really well before I got it. Wasn't like this one. Didn't even have to touch this one. Just dusted it off on the sealed batteries here, both of them. These are either sealed batteries and there's no corrosion. That's one of the really, really good things about the sealed lead acid batteries. But these do have to be maintained, so you're paying a lot less money for this battery, but you do have to maintain it. And you're going to have to put water in here, and demineralized water. I can't stress that enough. That'll make it last the longest. This one will have to be checked. But if you're that guy that's kind of like me, I like tinkering all the time, so I'm going to check my batteries, going to check my tires, going to check my bearings, going to check my brakes. That's me. I'm going to get up, I'm going to clean the air conditioner. I'm going to make sure everything's ready for the trip. This particular battery, that's me. I don't mind doing this stuff. But if you don't like it, then you're going to want the AGM sealed lead acid battery. Or if you really want to go for it, you can put a lithium iron phosphate, and we could help you do that. Change over to that if your coach or travel trailer or fifth wheel did not come with that charging equipment for the lithium. And sometimes we're finding that the equipment is in the RV, it simply needs to be switched over to the lithium iron phosphate setting on the charge equipment. And The technology just keeps jumping in leaps and bounds. It excites me. I get excited about batteries. We don't have any here. I understand Panasonic has come out with a solid state battery. We can't wait to see what that does. These will take, as far as charging goes, the solid state battery, plug it in and unplug it. It's charged. That's it. It's that simple. These will take several hours to charge, as well as a lithium iron phosphate. You could throw the voltage to it, and the battery management system that's built into the top of the battery will determine how long it takes to charge and at what level it eventually charges up to. Keep an eye on your batteries. Don't be that guy or that person on the side of the road with a burn-up alternator or a converter that's been blown because of bad batteries. Because once they go bad, it can cost you much, much more than the cost of having your batteries maintained or fixed. If you don't do it yourself, pay to have somebody do it. It's not worth the heartache. There's nothing worse than going on a trip and being broke down just because of something that was easily avoidable.